Live.
Are we live?
Yeah, looks like.
Yes, we are live. Okay, welcome everyone. This is Fresh Air, and these are our heads of teams, and we're just going to go over some of what the teams do. So, Felix, do you want to kick it off?
Yes, hello everyone. My name's Felix, as you probably just saw from my very embarrassing Instagram takeover, and I am the head of news for Fresh Air this year, which is really exciting. So yeah, just going to take you through basically what the news team do, how you can get involved, and some more information. So first of all, what do the news team do? Well, we compile a weekly news team hub show, which features reports, interviews. It's going to be a little bit different this year because I think they used to do it live, but obviously now we can't really do that. So it's basically going to be mainly people recording reports and writing articles, sending them in, and then they're played out each week. But it actually gives us quite a good opportunity to sort of change up the way we do things. So I'm really keen this year to get quite a lot of video involved, and maybe looking at some new platforms as well on how we deliver our news. So potentially things like TikTok, stuff like that we'll look at, because I thought that could be really interesting. But one of the main things is I really want people to feel that they can get involved with anything that they're interested in, any stories that are really important to them. There's no like restrictions on what you want to report from. As I said on Instagram Live, we had stories over the summer ranging from really serious things like Marcus Rashford and free school meals to like the X Factor and entertainment news, things like that. So literally anything that you're interested in, I'd love to hear from you. In terms of how it all works, there's a Facebook group that you can join. If you're not on Facebook, we'll work out some other way around it. But there's a spreadsheet on there. I'll put some ideas up each week for articles that I think might be interesting and reports that I think might sort of fit with what we're doing. But if there's anything you want to do, you literally just have to write it in, pop your name on there, and I'll set a deadline when I need the report or article by. And then, yeah, as I say, it will be broadcast on the News Team Hub show, and also hopefully put up onto our website, potentially in video form as well. If you're not comfortable recording a report, you can just do an article. That's absolutely fine for the website. And the thing that I didn't actually mention on Instagram, but is I guess an important thing to know, is that there's no expectation for you to do something every week or even regularly. If you want to do something one-off, that's absolutely fine. So there's no commitment. Don't feel like daunted by that. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I should mention. Yes, one thing that we're doing that I'm quite excited about and that I'd love people to get involved in is a podcast about the US election, basically explaining it to people like me that don't really understand it yet. So if you do understand, or if you don't understand at all and want to learn a bit more and maybe have some fun doing so, let me know, because I'd love to have you on board for helping to make the podcast. I should probably say how you can get in touch with me. So as I say, my name's Felix. On our Instagram, I put all the links to all our email addresses and things, but you can email me, which I think, I should know this, but I think is news@freshair.radio. Sam, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's it. Good. And yeah, I'd love to hear from you, or just join our Facebook group on Facebook. Excellent. Thanks.
Wonderful. Maisie, do you want to go next?
Sure. So I'm Maisie. I'm the new head of arts for this year. I'm a postgrad student of linguistics. And like many of you, I am actually new to Fresh Air as well. I came in from the student newspaper where I was the literature editor for 2 years. So I'm kind of coming at Fresh Air Arts from a journalistic, like cultural journalism stance, but I'm excited to meet lots of arts-minded people from all backgrounds. So arts in this context means visual arts, but also literature and poetry, theatre and film. Edinburgh is a rich tapestry for all of those things, but I am by no means an expert in all of them, and I don't expect anybody else to be. So don't panic about that. We need a broad range of people with all kinds of interests in order to create a good team. So there are a few ways to get involved. Of course, you can get involved with the official arts broadcast, which is the art show. And that's going to look a little different this year to what it's looked like in the past because of COVID restrictions on how we can use the studio and so on. But I'm expecting to be putting together a weekly podcast between 1 and 2 hours to replace the 2-hour live broadcast we used to do in previous years. I'm hoping that there will be a good team of kind of creative minds to help plan what that podcast is going to look like, how it will be structured, and what kind of content we put out. So that'll be kind of behind the scenes planning, sending emails and finding people to interview on air and like cool guests and so on. So there's loads of exciting scope for getting involved behind the scenes. There is also scope for guest hosting with me on that show, or even producing your own kind of podcast under the arts umbrella, if that's something you'd be interested in. I'm really open to ideas on that one. I just kind of want to see what people are keen to do. As long as it's art related, you come to me. Out with the show itself, the arts team is also responsible for putting out reviews of books and poetry and theatre and gallery exhibitions and other performances that take place in Edinburgh, which may also work a little differently this year because of COVID. But as the art sector slowly reopens, there will be lots of things to see, hopefully. I should say you don't really need any experience to do reviews or anything like that. I've worked as an editor for a long time, and I'm firmly of the belief that anybody can write a review. You just need to know what you're doing. So you can always come to me if you need some help. We have plenty of guides, and the real reason to get involved with writing, other than for the sheer joy of it, is that we get lots of free press tickets to shows in Edinburgh because we have good relationships with a lot of the theatres and so on. So I actually had press tickets to see Phantom of the Opera this September, but thanks to COVID, that's not happening anymore. So yes, those are the three things. You can get involved behind the scenes of the show, podcasting or being on air yourself, or you can be doing reviews. If you're interested in any of that, then please make sure you follow the Fresh Air Arts team page on Facebook. And also, so that's a group, join the group Fresh Air Arts team. Follow or like Fresh Air Arts, and you can email me at arts@freshair.radio as well, or message me on Facebook if you don't like emailing for some reason. And I think that's it.
Hi there, everyone. I'm Michael. I'm the production manager here at Fresh Air. I lead the production team. So in previous years, what the production team used to look like is we would get people like signed up, and we would like divvy them out to like the different shows that were broadcasting, and they'd go into the studio and give help. But since we can't really do that this year, it's given us a good opportunity to completely change the way that we do it. So the way it's going to work this year is that we're going to have like a centralized team working to make a podcast specifically for Fresh Air, and we'll meet every 2 weeks. 1 week to like we'll get together and like discuss features and content and music that we want to put into the show. It's completely open-ended, you know, like we can speak about anything really. And then the next week we will meet and record, and then a week after that will be another meeting to discuss what we put in the next episode. And there's no experience required really. Just like come along to the meetings like with something that you think would be fun to talk about or would make for interesting discussion. And then we can sort of like work as a group to like figure out what would be like the best for that time. And then we can meet the next week, and some of us will record it. There's no, like, even if it's your idea and you maybe not feel comfortable recording it yourself, you won't have to do that if you don't want to. We'll make sure that everyone that's presenting feels comfortable doing it, and it's doing it of like their own free will, basically. Yeah, it should be really exciting, and we're also planning on uploading guides and like how-to videos on how to like do like simple audio editing, like tricks that can make like your own podcasts better that you might be making like separately for the station. So if that sounds interesting, then you can email me at production@freshair.radio. And we've also got a Facebook group where I'll be posting all the details of like when the meetings are happening and when we're planning to record and how you can get access to those. And that'll be posted in the Fresh Air Production Team Facebook group, which is at facebook.com/groups/FreshAirProduction. And it's a very, very beginner-friendly space. I think most people that are new to the station come in like through production a lot of the time, and it's very like easy to get into, like very stress-free. So definitely, if you haven't had an experience in radio and you think it might be something that you're interested in, join the production team. If there's no questions, I think that's everything from me.
Hi everyone, I'm Peter. I'm the head of sport on Fresh Air this year. So I'll just give you a quick run through of the sort of opportunities we have at Fresh Air Sport. It's kind of two-stranded really. We've got kind of the studio show every week, which I'll have a quick chat about. And then also the really exciting bit, in my opinion, is the opportunities we have to go out and do a bit of roving reporting, that sort of thing, due to our contacts at Hearts and Hibernian, two local Scottish football teams. So I'll talk about that in a second. So first of all, every week we've got a sports hub show. So we look back at the previous week's sporting action and preview what's to come in the next week. The best thing about this is that you and I and we get to set the agenda. Whatever we want to talk about, whatever's closest to my heart, whatever sport's closest to all your hearts, you can come on, say, I just want a quick 5-10 minute segment, just talk about whatever it might be. It might be football, it might be rugby, might be something far more obscure, whatever it is that really floats your boat in terms of sport. Then you've got a few minutes there time to wax lyrical about it, get us bang up to date with it, tell us everything there is to know about it, why we should be watching it, that sort of thing. So it's really, if you've got, for example, I've always been really interested in Formula One, but I know it's something that a lot of people find really boring. So when I started, I thought it was a great opportunity for me to come on and have a bit of a chat about that, try and share my love for it. People who are listening, see if I could get them to think, oh, that sounds interesting, I'll give that a watch this weekend. Something like that. Great opportunity for things like that. We're always looking to broaden our repertoire in terms of sports we can talk about. So like I say, if there's something particularly obscure that you're interested in, then that's more than welcome. That would be really appreciated. In fact, we'd love to hear from you. Also, obviously, you're not just limited to the sports hub show. You could start your own show dedicated to specific sports, whatever, if you felt that's something you'd be interested in. So I'll just move on now, as I said, to the opportunities you have to go to watch Hibernian, Hearts, things like that. So we get to go to these, obviously, Hearts, for those of you who follow Scottish football, just got relegated last season, so they don't play the likes of Celtic and Rangers, those kinds of teams anymore. But it's still a great chance to go along. Hibernian still do this in the Premier League, so you get to go and watch some of the top teams playing against Hibernian. And you can attend these matches as part of the media. I send a quick email to people at Hibernian Hearts saying we've got someone who'd like to come down as part of the media from Fresh Air, watch the game, do a bit of reporting. They'll let you in. So you're attending these matches in the same capacity as journalists from BBC, from Sky Sports, from Opta. You're there with all the big broadcasting companies and journalists. So you get to watch the match in the plum seats right behind the dugouts. Fantastic view, great atmosphere as always. It's always brilliant day out. And then you get to even attend the post-match interviews, ask a question if you're brave enough. When Rangers were here last year, I even plucked up the courage to ask Stephen Gerrard a question. And then I later found that it was been used, the answer that he gave me to my question ended up being used as a headline on the BBC review of the match. So it's pretty cool little experience. When you're at these live matches, obviously there's a roving reporter for us, so it's great if you can write a little match report or record something that we can play on our show. We also, just last thing I think in terms of covering sport, then I'll hand over to somebody else. We get to cover the varsity rugby matches between Edinburgh and St Andrews when they eventually take place. Obviously, for reasons we're all very aware of, they're not taking place this week, which is when they would normally be. Hopefully they were taking place March or April this year. I've been speaking to someone who's kind of organises varsity, and they're hoping it'll take place at some point. But it's brilliant, not because obviously we normally do kind of the radio sort of broadcasting, but it's a great opportunity to do kind of like televised broadcasting almost, and live streaming on YouTube and things like that. So it's kind of another dimension to sport broadcasting, sports journalism, a bit of commentary, pitch side reporting, that sort of thing. And also, if you're into rugby as well, that helps massively. So that'd be a great thing to get involved with. So that's kind of a little bit further down the line, March or April, but still something to look out for if you're interested in sports broadcasting and journalism, that sort of thing. I think that's everything. If anyone else wants to speak.
Hello, I'm Jen. I'm music team manager, which is a new role this year. And so, well, Michael will go after me. He's the head of music. So he's like on the more live gigs and side of things, and I'm sort of basically in charge of the music team. So I get to talk about like the music team specifically. So we have weekly meetings, which I guess this online or like they'll be done over Facebook, so no one needs to worry about meeting in person. We like at the meetings, everyone brings new releases from the past month, like releases they like, and we listen to them, and then everyone rates them. The top 10 are played on the Hub Show, which is a 2-hour show music single week, so hours, and the first hour is probably made up of the top 10 that we did on as the music team. And then the other hour, a specialist hour, if you're interested in getting involved in radio, but maybe you don't want your own show, you can come and do support music team for like an hour, or you could even just like make a playlist or make views or interviews, which this year obviously is going to be a little bit different, and Tom can obviously talk a bit more about, but like Zoom and phone calls and everything. So it will still be fun. It'll be more of like probably a focus on album songs this year, but you know, if that's around and involved, it's such a nice place for people that are mad keen on music like yourself. That's the thing that I love about the team. It's one of my favorite parts about Fresh Air. Just literally being able to go and have a space like every single week for an hour that you can just listen to music and talk to people about music. It's so much really fun social space. Obviously, it's a little different this year, but normally doing things like going to the pub is fun. Maybe next year that, if not, if you're like younger than 4th year, then that's maybe something to look forward to next year. Sorry, I've got notes on my phone, but my phone is just itself. Yeah, no, it's just such a nice place, Fresh Air. And as I say, if you're in like music and radio, but you're not sure about what to do, or you're maybe not confident enough, like helping out with the Hub Show or coming to music team meetings is a really nice way to like get involved with Fresh Air and with the radio and have an impact on things without you maybe tipping. It might warm you up to maybe doing your own semester or that. As a team, have it's Fresh Air meme, so if you search it up, you should be able to find myself. It's probably like the best of anywhere. So if you have questions for me, then feel free to message me there, and also me just on the Fresh Air members page, or you can email at music at Fresh Air. I guess Tom will talk a little bit about sort of the live music review, interview side of things as well, because that's me.
Hello, I am Tom. I'm the head of music this year at Fresh Air, and obviously I work with Jen as well, generally as part of the music team. So I'm pretty much responsible for the music output of Fresh Air, mainly written. We do a lot of written things, but also audio. We do a lot of audio and written interviews and reviews, and we work together to do our 2-hour Hub Show that we do every week. So I'll talk a little bit about our music output and the kind of things that we do. So obviously, as well as a Hub Show, we organise gig reviews, interviews, and reviews of albums and singles. Of course, at the moment, gigs aren't really happening due to the current situation. But when they do happen, we have a lot of contacts that we can get in touch with, and a lot of free press that we can get for review and interview opportunities, which is really, really cool. We've had some really cool people before, like Declan McKenna, Jack Garrett, I think they were over lockdown, and Sam Fender, Bombay Bicycle Club, etc., who we've managed to get in touch with and managed to interview them. At the moment, it's, as I say, not many gigs going on, but I'm really trying to focus on our written and audio content for albums and singles and general interviews. So if you have anyone in mind that you want to interview, please let me know, and we can try our best to try and get an interview with them. And as well, if there's an album that you like, a single that's just come out that you'd love to cover, then please let me know as well. We curate our own lists of albums and our own list of singles that would kind of act as ideas, new releases that are coming out. But as I say, we really are open to any genre, and we really are open to anything that you guys would like to interview or things that you'd like to review. What we tend to do is we have like a little pack that can, if you've never done it before, for example, we have a little pack that you can use to get you into reviewing music, reviewing singles and albums, and advice that you can take on for interviews as well. And we tend to put them on our Fresh Air website under the music tab. And as well, if you'd like to do audio interviews, we can take little clips of the audio interviews and put them in our hub show as well, if you'd like those to go up. As the great thing as well about our interviews is that they can be quite creative. It's free press for the guys who do it. So I've experimented with things like explain that gram before, and ask kind of silly questions and things like that. So as well as ticking off the main things that you'd like with an interview or a review, then you can also be creative and as much as possible. Another thing that I'm wanting to do this year is increase our contact with presenters that we have who run music shows, which is why it'd be great to have as many presenters coming into the music team as well. As Jen said, it's a really nice social space where we review and look at new music that comes in every single week. And of course, we have many presenters who are experts in different fields of music. So it'd be really cool to have that as a space where you can share music and where you can then also come onto the hub show and talk about your preferred topic. So back to like the administrative stuff. If you'd like to do any music reviews or any interviews at all, please let me know. If you have any ideas of things that you'd like to write about or record about. Now we've got with Zoom, we have many opportunities to do that, and it has worked very well in the past over lockdown especially. And as I say, it's no commitment either. You can do one or two reviews of an album that you'd like, and and leave it at that. But it would be great to have you around, especially in the social space. Our email is music@freshair.radio, and you can ask me about any opportunities that we do have. And we have an amazing little Facebook group as well on Facebook. If you go into Fresh Air members, you can find out the information about that. So that's pretty much it.
Thank you. Felix, we have a question about the American politics stuff. Would you be able to expand on what our plans are for the American election?
Yeah, sure. So hopefully we're planning to do, again, I don't know what the restrictions say about being in the studio and things like that, but there should be somewhere around it. Hopefully, in addition to the podcast, we're going to be doing like a live election show on election night. So it'd be great to have people who, again, have a bit of a knowledge of American politics to come and almost like be a sort of pundit on that. I think that would be really fun. And then in terms of the podcast as well, that's going to be, I think, 5 episodes every Friday in October. I've got a little schedule of sort of what each episode is going to cover. The first one is an introduction, and then we're going to look at both candidates in a bit more detail, and then moving on to sort of how the electoral process works, because that's quite confusing, and then finally moving on to sort of issues and controversies with the candidates and with the electoral process. So yeah, anyone who has, as I say, any knowledge of those topics, or anyone who doesn't but is really keen to learn, or even keen to sort of expand their podcasting skills, let me know, and yeah, we can definitely work together, because that'd be really fun.
Alrighty, thank you. If you've got any questions for any of the heads teams, do put them in the comments, and we'll do our best to answer them. But I'm going to hand over to Finn Marsden right now to talk a wee bit about the SRA.
Hello, I'm Finn. I am the assistant station manager of Fresh Air, which means I'm just under Sam at all times, which sounds really weird. I'm also the representative of the Student Radio Association here in Scotland. So my job is basically to liaison between this big organisation that I'll tell you all about that represents all student radios in the UK, and I liaison between them and all the student radio stations here in Scotland, which there are 13 of currently. So the Student Radio Association, basically, obviously there's student radio stations in every single city of the UK, and what our job in the SRA to do is basically connect all those reasonably small student radios, I should say, to the bigger industry. So we're talking Radio 1, we're talking all the BBC stations, we're talking global stations, so Capital FM, Heart, the Bauer station. So here in Scotland, we've got Forth 1, North Sound 1, all that kind of thing. And basically use those to provide opportunities to you guys as part of student radio. So if you do end up joining us here at Student Radio, you might think, actually, this is like the perfect career for me. For me personally, I know that that's now what I want to do, even though I actually study chemistry at Edinburgh. So basically, we can give you opportunities to do things like here in Edinburgh with Fourth One, you might get an opportunity to do work experience with them or something like that. They can also come into our station and help us out with stuff like that. And we also put on training days every semester. So the first one is coming up in October the 14th and 15th. It's all going to be online this time for obvious reasons. And the one in October is really good for people that haven't been involved in radio ever before. Basically, it's going to be a series of talks. There's 10 talks from people talking about the absolute basics of radio. So we've got topics on things like how to set up a podcast, how to create good content for your podcast, how to make some good imaging for it so it looks good on your Facebook page, your Instagram, whatever, all the way to things like how to run a radio show. And there's plenty more. I don't know how many I'm allowed to announce so far, so I'm going to be really careful in case someone's watching. So yeah, that's coming up in October. And yeah, basically through my role as that and my role as assistant station manager, you have absolutely free reign to message me at any point, to ask any questions you might have about the wider area of radio, about any opportunities you'd like to know about. And the perfect way to do that is to join our Facebook page, which I'm going to forget the name of now, is called, I think it's called the Scotland Regional Group of the SRA. It's something like that. I'll share a link to it into the Fresh Air members page if you've joined that. But yeah, basically that's a little bit about the SRA. And yeah, feel free to ask me any questions. My name is Finn Marsden, and my email address, which I'm not going to get wrong, is Samuel. What's my email address?
I think your email address is assistantmanager@freshair.radio.
Assistant
I'm
manager.
not totally certain on that. So
Well,
I'm
also the secretary. So the sexy newsletters you're going to get once a month will be written by yours truly. So you can also get me at secretary at Fresh. Well, I forgot a handle. How have I done that?
Secretary at FreshAir.radio.
Secretary at Fresh Air Radio. Thank you.
Do you not have an SRA email as well?
I have too many. I can't announce all of my emails. It's too many for people.
Just go through a list.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Well, we've cut that short about an hour and a half early. So does anyone else have any things they'd like to talk about to fill up a bit more of the time? No? Okay. Well, thank you all for tuning in. I hope that was helpful. This will be on our YouTube account to watch back if you'd like to. And if you've got any more questions, just talk to us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or email any of these people. And join our Facebook group, Fresh Air Members. And look at our website, FreshAir.radio. Sorry, that's a lot of links. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and goodbye.